Okay, so this week I wanted to talk about something that just kind of presented itself to me. And in the midst of all the other stuff that is going on, I just thought this was kind of a fascinating thought experiment, if nothing else, and worth getting into. So, about a month ago, there was an ad that went out on one of these closed musician groups on Facebook for this area, looking for musicians to play at the Lifetime Fitness in the city. Well, it turns out that that one is about 2 miles from my house,
Nice.
and the ask was 90 minutes once a month in exchange for a free membership to this gym.
Huh.
Now, if you aren't familiar with Lifetime Fitness, you should look them up because they're kind of insane. But they are these, like, I guess, like a holistic gym is the only way I know how to like describe it. It's like they have co-working space and hair salons and cold plunges and indoor and outdoor pools. Like it is one of these like absolute massive complexes.
Okay.
And monthly membership there can be pretty pricey. I have never been a member there because frankly, I couldn't justify the cost. And so I was like, well, that's kind of an interesting value proposition. This is something that doesn't pay anything, but has a pretty solid payoff.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a question of, is my time worth the thing that I'm getting in return? And I just thought that's kind of a fascinating topic and something that honestly has been kind of controversial in this community. We've definitely
Yes.
had pretty heated conversations around the
Yes.
concept of this kind of thing.
I mean, the sort of dumb case of it is the question: should you play for free?
Right.
Right. And the answer to that is no. I mean,
No.
I think we can say that in a pretty absolute way.
Yeah.
But are there ways to get compensated that aren't cash?
Yeah. And, the core concept was kind of one that we had come up with talking about how to choose when to take gigs, period.
Mm.
And it was the three pillars really. It was, is it going to be fun? Is it going to pay well? Is it low stress, low risk?
Mhm.
And usually 2 out of 3, you're feeling pretty good about it. And this one hit 2 out of 3. It just wasn't the one that says, does it pay well?
Right.
The way that I kind of looked at it from, my perspective, I would not be doing solo gigs. And in fact, the fact that I had to like completely reset everything up on my tailor shows that like that's just a thing that normally wouldn't happen this time of year.
Right.
So it's something that's kind of keeping me sharp and giving me opportunities to try new songs and do things that I don't normally do just to kind of test them out. And again, super low stakes, low risk. They started this program this month and I think the first person to do it.
Nice.
And I played to maybe 6 people and I played for just at an hour. And that was it.
Right.
I filled the paperwork out. I've got the access. I can cold plunge whenever I want, as long, as soon as this spider bite heals.
Here's the question of whether it's worth it, partially comes down to, are you gonna use the membership?
Mhm.
The economics of gym memberships, of course, depend heavily on people paying for them and not using them. So
Yes.
if it's a benefit that you'd be getting but not using, then that cuts into the value for you.
Right. But it's a good excuse to invest in that kind of service that I wouldn't ultimately be able to do otherwise.
For sure. Yeah.
And if I think about like even the drop-in rate, if I go 4 times in a month, I'm ahead of the game, theoretically. But again, this is virtual money. This is money that is not being expended. So, if I go and do a class and then maybe sit in the steam room or whatever, like maybe that feels like it's worth the 60 minutes I exerted to do it that month.
Yeah. Listen, finish a gig and end the night in the steam room.
Yeah.
That's not
Nice
bad.
schwitz.
Yeah, I do that. I do that all day.
You got showers in a locker room. Like you can really go hard and
Go
then,
hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
sit there and recover. So kind of zooming out of my specific situation, the immediate part of it, there was a concept that I wanted to kind of talk about, and it's about the value proposition of taking a gig. And what I came up with 2 categories. There's ITR value and OTR value. So ITR stands for inside the room. What kind of ITR value are you getting out of whatever gig you want to do. An example of an ITR value would be a really active participatory crowd.
Sure.
So they're there to have a good time, and they're going to make requests, and they're going to tip you, or they're going to kind of, you're going to walk out of that gig feeling good.
Yeah, something that makes the gig itself really satisfying.
Right. Or it could be, a bar credit or a food
Sure.
tab,
Yep.
and maybe it's a restaurant that you love to go to, and okay, I'll play for 90 minutes in exchange for a free meal, the best
I
chicken sandwich in town.
I'll tell you, I have played for way less than my usual rate, not no money, but not very much money, and a really killer steak at a really great steak place in Greensboro. So
Yeah.
I've done that. I've done that.
Those are kind of things that, like, I can experience this. It's kind of like immediate gratification, because
Mm,
you you make a decision, and then you experience the things that, add value immediately. That's good. That's that quick release, that, shot of endorphins and all that good stuff. Now, OTR value is a bit more nebulous, a bit less guaranteed maybe, but still potentially good reasons.
sure.
So OTR values that I have thought through in certain situations: will this gig give me the opportunity to book more gigs or book
Right.
private events? That's an
Yeah,
OTR value.
absolutely.
And so, am I playing discounted rate at a charity event, but I know that that room is full of decision makers who could, keep us busy on the back half of the year?
Yeah.
Or if I do this set, can I finish this gig and jump directly into the pool in
Right.
December?
Right. Right. What about this gig is in a place that looks really great, and I'm going to bring my photographer and end up with a lot of good marketing materials coming out of it.
Which is kind of like, I think that's the magic bullet. That's
Yeah,
that's where that's the Venn diagram where the ITR and OTR kind of overlap.
could be.
But yeah, the idea that you would take something just for the optics, for the, it's a cool room, it's a nice venue, it's a good stage, they got nice production.
It's a good logo to have on your resume.
Yeah.
I played this venue.
The intrinsic value behind what we do is, I don't think it's unquantifiable, but the ability to quantify it can be varied and uh, interesting, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
That's a way to put it.
Yeah, and I think as long as you are getting value of one type or the other, or some combination that makes it worth your while, makes it attractive, there's no problem with playing for quote unquote free. I think as
Yeah.
long as there's something in it for you, and I wouldn't do it every time.
No.
But every now and then there's a good reason. And look, a charity gig is a great example of it too. There's a
Mhm.
certain, contribution and, ethical responsibility to the community that you're satisfying. And that's a real value. That's a real value. If you care about the benefit or whatever it is, we usually do them at the request of one of our band members will have some request come in, and we try to only do 1 or 2 a year from each person, maybe 1
Yeah.
if we can be careful about it. But last one we did, I had no idea what the heck the charity was or anything. I had to get the acronym explained to me when we were standing waiting to
Yeah,
go
you have to be
on. Like,
careful with
I
that kind of stuff.
no idea what it was. But then, I understood enough to be able to, say diabetes strong on mic. So that was
There you
good.
go.
Yeah.
We had that conversation a couple of episodes ago where it was an opportunity to kind of play to benefit the film workers
Right.
in the city.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, I can get behind that. Did
Sure.
they end up booking us? No. But they've contacted us before, maybe, third time's a charm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately we're down for the cause.
Exactly.
Another example of this was something that I came up with just based on, again, necessity. The kiddos in the marching band, it's a very expensive extracurricular,
Yeah.
and you know the kids and the parents were subjected to just like fundraiser after fundraiser after fundraiser, and it's just like, what can we do in like a single night that could just like make all this money? And I immediately was like, 80s prom.
Hmm.
We'll do an 80s prom,
Yeah.
and not like a rinky dink one, like go big, like go like get this really nice venue and all these cool vendors, and like make it like a high end event that like not just parents of the kids that go to this thing would want to go to, you
Who are
know?
tapped anyway, like, they've been giving to this for
Right.
months
Yeah,
and months and months. Yeah.
exactly. And more like a treat for them to like let them blow off steam after, busting their butts to make sure that this thing works.
Yeah.
And then the thought, of course, being that, okay, well, now we have access to 100 musicians. What can we do with them?
Mhm.
And so, put together a horn section or, do a bunch of saxophone songs, have the kids come up, have the drum line come up, do In the Air Tonight, like
Right.
Mike did with the Pork Tornadoes and the
For sure.
Iowa State Marching Band. So I just thought that was like a cool idea. And that would be one of those things where Amber and I would quote unquote play for free. Of course, we'd be doing all the planning and the production and
Right.
all the hard stuff.
Right.
We would be giving that away uh, in exchange for not having to do as many fundraisers the year after.
You
That seems
think?
worth it to me.
I guess. I guess. I played, my kids' elementary school annual picnic, a couple of years ago, and, it was just for fun. It was just for fun. There
Sure.
was, like, I love the school, and I got to play some Miley Cyrus tunes that the kid and her friends stomped around the yard to and screamed along with me, and it was a good time, and, one of the most heinous load outs I've ever done. It was down like a grass amphitheater to this little
Mhm.
tiny stage, and so pulling the rock and roller cart back up that was
Whew.
had to recruit some small pusher people to help me make it
Nice.
make the way back up. But yeah, it was worth it. It was fun. It was good.
This feels like a paradigm shift. I think, we've been so capitalistic, I believe, you know, and now we're
Yeah,
starting to like move into this agrarian bartering mindset.
for
Maybe
sure.
this is what happens during the slow season. We're just like, well, what is it?
I'll
I'll do anything.
I'll play for 2 chickens and
I
a
I don't care.
a bushel of oats.
We're just so desperate
Yeah,
for the validation.
yeah.
I'll do it. I'll get in a cold bucket of water. I'll do anything.
That's right. That's right. It's interesting you think of this as the slow season. For acoustic, usually the holiday season's pretty busy for me. I had 2 holiday gigs this year, but that's down, I was deliberately because I was taking it easy on myself physically.
Yeah.
Um, and in past years, I've been booked through the holidays. Get a pretty good book of holiday music and, kind of promote yourself like that, and it's pretty busy.
Yeah. Here, the prevalence of live music outdoors is just
Mm,
insane because less than a mile from here, there's 40 places you can play in a night.
yeah,
So when things do get cold, the music doesn't stop, but it drops significantly.
sure.
So it's always kind of been we pick up somewhere between February and April, just depending, and then everything's back to normal. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this keeps me sharp in the off season,
for sure.
working on my keeping my voice up and my hands and my back and
Well,
yeah,
and that's another, I don't know whether it's an I or an OTR, but, keeping yourself limber, keeping yourself in the game, that's
that's
some value.
OTR, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
yeah,
probably.
it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
In the room, it's good to be sharp, but also outside the room, it's good to stay, where that first 3 hour or whatever doesn't like lay you out for the
yeah,
weekend
and
afterwards.
and you got the confidence you can book it and deliver and not have to, really agonize over getting yourself up into fighting shape.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just like having the excuse to do it because
Yeah,
that's part of my challenge is just will I sit and practice if I don't have to?
right.
And the answer is no. My brain works on the the desperation of now.
Yeah, yeah,
And I've
yeah.
got to do
No,
something.
I do perform best under the gun. There's no question about
Yeah.
that.
So in conclusion, do what you want. I
Yeah,
don't it doesn't matter. If you're the one who's loading the gear up and putting all the stuff together and actually cranking the thing out. You decide what it's worth.
yeah. If it's worth your while, then it's worth your while. You don't have to defend that.
And listen, I've played high paying gigs that didn't feel like they were worth it at all.
Yes, for
Like
sure.
I know I'm making 5x, 10x what I normally make. It's not enough,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? But I've also played gigs that were pretty cushy where you're like, yeah, I can put up with this.
yeah.
No problem. may I have another?
Yeah. What are you doing next week?
But yes, I'm looking forward to just wringing that membership dry, because again, there's so many things that you can do there
Good.
beyond just like getting on a treadmill. So, go get my haircut or something. I don't know.
Awesome.
Why not?
Why not?
The world is a vampire or an oyster. You decide.
Crustacean of some sort.
Yes. Again, I think we really landed this plane just now.
We did. Well, things were going good until vampire kind of threw me, but
I don't know. Well, because I was supposed to say the world's your oyster, but then
I know.
I'm a child of the '90s where I was like, the world is a vampire.
Yeah.
Gang, 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 gang. Just yeah,
It could be your vampire, at least. Yeah. I'm on board.
it's
I'm on
fine, guys. Listen, the hour plus band coaching episode nearly took me out.
Mm,
So, will you guys get a tight 30 this week with just impeccable editing? You betcha.
better believe it.
5 camera angles, 5 audio sources, trying to make it all everybody talking on each other, man. But
I
listen,
mean, it came together good. It was pretty coherent.
it took a lot of work, but it was absolutely worth every second because I thought it turned out great. And the response from that episode has been pretty insane
Mm,
on every platform. Lots of people leaving comments. I put up a couple of polls where it's like, hey, should we do more of these? And the overwhelming consensus is, yeah, we
mm,
like this.
good.
So I got people in my DMs going, I'd like to volunteer to be coached next, please. So clearly,
Alright,
there's some need there, and people seem to really enjoy it and benefit from it. Whether it's their band or not. So we
good.
definitely need to get some more of those in the books. And yeah, things are going great. Other than spider bites and kids needing to go to school, full steam ahead, I guess.
Yeah, here we go.